सेशन नंबर क्या है आज? 45. हाँ, सेशन नंबर क्या है आज? 45. All right. Hi, good morning everyone. Sorry, we're late by a couple of minutes. This is welcome to all of you. Welcome to all of you. This is session 45 of Ask FinTree. And today is an extremely interesting session because I have three CFA charter holders co-doing or we kind of doing this session together. And intention of today's session is to explore three different career trajectories for CFA charter holder. So I'll start with a quick introduction of each one of them. Our first guest for today is Mr. Amit. Amit, hi. Amit works in Quant research. So that's going to be very interesting because Quant looks like an interesting area. He's an assistant portfolio manager at True Beacon. Then we have Utsav Agrawal, who's also a CFA charter holder. Utsav works in private wealth or wealth management segment, which we've spoken multiple times on this channel, that it's a very, very interesting career opportunity to look at. And Prathamesh is also joining the session. He's experiencing some audio issues, so we're hoping he'll be able to join us back. Prathamesh Naik is also a charter holder, CFA charter holder, and he works in risk management. All right, so with this background, we will start the session. And then very soon, I think once our initial conversation is done, then we will come to the chat box and ask some queries. So welcome to all of you, Amit, Utsav, and Prathamesh. Amil, we'll start with you. Can you do a quick 2-minute introduction of yourself in terms of what your background is and what you do currently? Over to you, Amit. A 2-minute introduction of yourself in Amit, I'm struggling to get your audio. Let me just take if it's me or just a minute. Okay, I cannot. Utsav, can you hear Amit?
No, I can't.
Yeah, okay. Amit, maybe your audio
Okay,
is.
so can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, sorry, that's what. So yeah, I was saying that before I introduce myself, I would like to clarify that I'm not a CFA charter holder, so I think that was a mistake.
Fantastic. Okay.
i-
Are you a CFA candidate?
No, I have never appeared for a CFA.
Okay, fantastic.
So
My
it would be
apologies for everyone then. I think there's
yeah,
some
it would be an outside perspective, like everyone is CFA here or aspiring for CFA. But to talk about my career, so as of now, I'm working like in industry for 8 years. So currently, I'm working as assistant portfolio manager, and previously I worked as a senior quantitative researcher. And before that, I have worked in the index management and analytics. So my career, like every job I like held in different companies has a different profile. So I have never held a single profile over my like 8 years of career. And for my education background, I had like master's in physics, then MBA in finance, and recently I have did my MSc in financial engineering. So like that's for my educational background.
Sorry, can you come back? Masters in physics, and after
Yeah,
that you said you.
after master's in physics, I did my MBA in finance, and then like recently, like a year back, I did from Quant University financial engineering, MSc in financial engineering.
MSc in financial engineering. Was that like a in-person program or was it
No, it's an online program, but it's 2-year program, which is
Okay.
offered by WQU. So if
Right.
you are aware of a World Quant, which is the high frequency trading firm, so they also offer their program for financial engineering.
Okay. I must confess, Amit, my knowledge regarding quant industry is fairly limited. So I actually know I don't know World Quant, but I'd like to know more about it as you progress. So very interesting. And first, my apologies because I think I misread. My team did mention you were not a CFA, but I misread that. So you said you've worked in index management before, and your current profile is in quant.
The current profile is a mix of a quant and a portfolio management. My previous profile was a pure quant. Now I have transitioned into portfolio management. So it's a bit of both. Like I also do research. I also try to like manage a portfolio, assist manage in portfolio.
Understood. Very interesting. And is this the organization that you work for? Is it like a PMS, AIF? What is it exactly?
So it's both AIF PMS, but I work for the PMS.
You work for the PMS. And roughly how large is the organization? What's the size of assets you guys are managing at the moment?
So size or assets exactly for I can talk about PMS. I don't know about like how much they have in AIF, but in PMS we have 400 plus crore.
Okay, so fairly sizable. Very interesting. And when you're running quant strategies under PMS, is it a lot of long equities or also you're also doing some short or derivatives?
No, currently we are focused on the long only.
Long equities, right? So you're using, and is this a quantitative PMS or your
Yeah,
job?
it's a quantitative strategy.
So quant PMS. Okay, fantastic. I think I love this. I have plenty of questions coming up for you. But I think let's go to Utsav now. Utsav, you're a CFA charter holder.
Yeah,
Okay, fantastic. Welcome to the show. Can you do a quick introduction and give us a little bit about yourself?
sure. So I currently work as a partner in a boutique wealth management outfit based in Delhi, Prospects Wealth. I have about 8 years of experience, corporate experience, predominantly in the wealth and asset management space. Academically, my undergraduate was engineering, so I am a chemical engineer by education. Never practiced that. Then did my MBA in finance from Goa Institute of Management. With my MBA course, I also started preparing for CFA. Did my 2 levels along with the college. Did my level 3 while I was in corporate, and then got my charter. So I have worked in various geographies in India, so including Mumbai and Bangalore. Uh, I have settled in my current assignment approximately 3 years back. So that is where I stand. Uh, so yeah, that's a brief introduction about me.
Understood. So Utsav, you said total 8 years of experience. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming 5 years you work in wealth management with some other player.
No. So actually, I have worked with multiple players before settling with Prospects. So I started my AMC experience with Edelweiss Asset Management. So I was in their B2B space where I was actually selling products managed by Edelweiss AMC. And then after a brief experience with Edelweiss, I moved to wealth management space. So I joined Etika Wealth in Mumbai, spent about 2 years with them. Then I was briefly in the fintech space with Scriptbox in Bangalore, and then moved on to Prospects Wealth 3 years back.
Right. And you co-founded Prosper's Wealth?
No, I didn't co-found Prospects. So initially, when I joined as an associate partner here. In December 2023, I got scaled up as full-time partner. So here currently, I run my own team, own book, and I am responsible for my own P&L. Though I hold a very small minority stake through ESOPs, but of course, the revenue stream is something that I run myself for my book.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing,
Yeah.
Utsav. And I think we'll go to Prathamesh Naik. Prathamesh, you are also a CFA charter holder.
Yes, sir. I'm a CFA charter holder. I got my CFA in November 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was also a FinTree student actually. I took the
I didn't know
recorded
that.
classes, so thank you. And yeah, I have a total of 7.5 years of work experience, and
Okay.
it is into different domains. So I started on my career in wealth management. I was in Funds India, which was a competitor of Scriptbox, as Amit said. And then I moved on to Alliance Bernstein in the fixed income space. And recently, like I have joined the Bank of New York in their investment risk team. And education-wise, I am a software engineer. I did my engineering from Pune University. Then I went on to complete my post-graduation in securities markets from National Institute of Securities Markets in Mumbai, which is a 1-year program in capital market focus program. And then I got my job, and alongside my job, I pursued my CFA.
Understood. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Prathamesh. So you've worked, looks like in last 7.5 years, you worked on three kind
Yeah.
of unrelated profile of sorts.
Sorry?
you worked in three very different domain altogether,
Yes,
because
yes,
Funds India and both Scriptbox were robo advisory platforms,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Big part of now Script India acquired. I think your Scriptbox acquired Bharat Sir's firm in Pune,
Yeah. Yes,
the wealth management, right?
correct.
And then Alliance Bernstein, you worked in fixed income,
Yes,
and then you've moved to risk management now.
yes, correct.
Understood. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Thank you again for the introduction. I think I'll circle back and start with Amit. Amit, give us an idea of the whole quant mutual fund or quant investment ecosystem, because I hear a lot of different fund managers, even in conversation, telling me that we run quant strategy, but everyone's strategy sounds very different, right? So, can you give us a little insight on what quant is, and how do you guys go about stock picking?
Okay, sure. So I'll start with basically what quant research is, then I will try to get into the what is a quant investing is. So basically quant research, so I think basically largely your audience is a CFA or FRM student. So they understand like how companies analyze fundamentally. So it is up to a basically how you analyze company, how its cash flows. You try to look into the business, all those things. You go into the details. But in quantitative field or quantitative research, what we try to do is data, prices, volume, any kind of data is available. We try to identify the patterns in that data. That's the quant research. Try to identify pattern. Try to see where are those pockets of the what are the correlation, how you can correlate one company to other, how you can correlate the industry, how you can correlate the performance, and you see how historically those trends have turned out. If you have based research, you are picked up based on particular patterns. It's not a basically now when I talk about pattern, people will confuse it with technical analysis. So technical analysis is a different, and quant investing is quant research is a different. Here we try to identify the pattern which are long lasting patterns. It's not just that for minutes or 2 minutes or 10 minutes that pattern holds. These are academically proven, economically backed, and based on the practitioner they have using this all the patterns. When I say the patterns, in the quant investing in the recent years in India, everyone must have heard about the factor investing. So factor investing is fairly new to the India, not like 10 years or odd, but it is well established in the US market. But when you talk about factor investing, factors are something that is a characteristics. Let's say I call value. So everyone would understand value, the undervalued companies. When I say the growth, the companies which are growth oriented. When I say size, the company which has size tilt. When you can say the momentum is the favorite of the Indian market, where the stock's price going up and it keeps on going up. So these are the factors which have studied by various academics. They have done the research based on the statistical findings. These are the proven methods that work in the quant research. So when you say how the investing works, so when any of the quant investing manager, they want to invest money. So I'm talking about investing, not trading. So for long horizon, let's say a year or more than a year, you try to identify what economic regime you are in. Is it a bull regime, bear regime? What are the interest rate going on? And based on that, you pick the factor which you think that will perform best in that particular environment. And then you run the models. Model tell you that if you have universe, let's say Nifty 500, you're not doing it manually, you get give data to the model try to identify which are the Nifty 500 companies are aligned with that factor that you want to pick. If you want to pick a value factor, then your model will try to understand based on the various definitions coined by practitioner, or when you come up with your own research, your proprietary research, you try to define the what is a value and then give the data and then calculate a value score for each of those companies. And based on your risk appetite, you create a portfolio out of those your universe, and then you take investor money and then you wait, because only thing you can do is wait, because it's not like you are creating something. You are trying to capture that trend which we expect it will materialize. So it's in your you have to wait that to materialize. It may materialize, it may not materialize. It depends, because factors are cyclical. Sometime value will work, sometime value will not work, sometime momentum will work. Then you have to keep on switching between these factor and try to. So here's the skills of a manager or the investment research team comes in. when they can, because everyone knows about this factor, everyone knows the definition. There are n number of definition available. You can pick book definition, you can pick other definition, but try to identify which factor will work when, and then try to capitalize on that. That's the skill, and that's why there is a quant research or quant investment, because this is a day in day out job. It's not like once you create a model and that model is running in some backend and you have to just rest. So it's a day in day out process.
Which is a trader's dream, right? I'll build my system और फिर मैं जिंदगी भर पैसे कमाएगा. So Amit, if I understood what you're saying correctly, I think so. In the way your firm at least is operating, is you first are trying to identify what regime we are operating in, whether we are in a bull case. So we typically, I think, quant world, I've heard people saying risk on, risk off type of terms,
Yeah.
right? So you do a bull, bear, or base case. Then you're saying that in each of the environment, you're identifying what betas to play or what factors to play on. So whether I want to do value, growth, size, right, liquidity, all of those. So what has been the observation? Bull market, which factors work well?
Bull market, I would say that in my experience, it's momentum.
Momentum.
Because if market is going up, like with the tide, every stock goes up. And if you're able to identify the right stock, and there are different kind of momentum, like people have defined it different way. Someone will define it 12 minus 1, basically last 11 months of a return, or 6 minus 1. So everyone has different definitions. Some use a risk adjusted definition. Some try to look momentum into the sectors. Some may try to look into the fundamentals. So there are different kind of momentums. So
Right.
it's up to you, like which momentum you want to pick.
Understood. And what factors do you think work in bear markets? Yours is a long only portfolio.
Yeah.
So if we are in a risk off environment, then what factors do you gravitate towards?
So in my personal experience, I would say that I would gravitate toward a low wall factor. So basically, low wall is a kind of factor which is contradictory to like anything, because normally we expect that normally no one expect the companies we show the low volatility in the price will earn you any returns other than like the alpha generating. But it is observed in academic research that in the low wall pocket also you can earn a return. So that's would be my focus when there is like risk off.
So then, is there a lot of machine learning and AI that your firm is using, or is it a set of rules which are helping you identify what factors or what stocks to bet on?
Yeah, so when we talk about machine learning, yeah, there are machine learning. So I won't say that my firm is using or any firm is using. In general, yeah, there are machine learning techniques which can help you, but then you have to basically machine can learn, but then you have to make him learn that machine. So you have to come up with the structure, like what exactly you want to do with, because there are model, like you can say random forest model, you can say lasso model. So these are the regression models. And nowadays with the chat GPT, you can just ask chat GPT to give me a
Yeah.
code and you can push a data.
Very
But
true.
first of all, you have to understand what exactly it's trying to do and what that you want, because you need to identify the output. You have to make sure that output is accurate and you can deploy it in the production environment. So
Understood.
you have to be judge of that. So there are different machine learning techniques, but yeah, machine learning will help you identify regimes. Machine learning will help you identify the which factor work will win, because it's just a pattern. As a human, we're not able to see every pattern that is available in the large data, but as a machine can understand, they can look into the historical, let's say 20 years of data, and try to identify which factor was working at what time, what was the interest rate at that point, what was the gold prices at that point, oil prices at that point, or the macroeconomic indicators, and then try to replicate that based on the current scenarios. What is the current oil price, interest rate price, and just try
Understood.
to see if that pattern will repeat.
So I'll just come in here, Amit, a bit. I think I have a fairly good idea of what you're doing at your organization. Now, give us a little perspective. You're not a CFA charter holder, and I'm assuming you probably never felt the need to do it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yes.
So how does someone build a successful quant career? Because you come from engineering background, you mentioned earlier, right?
Physics background.
Sorry, you've done physics background, and then you did financial engineering from World Quant. So if someone wants to build career in finance, especially in quant investing, is CFA mandatory? And B, what other skills do they look for?
So I won't say the CFA is a mandatory, but if you have CFA, it will give you an edge.
Okay.
Okay, but when I say the edge, I think you will know better than me that it's a double-edged sword. Because once you have the CFA, then you have to justify it in the interview that why you are the CFA charter holder, because your expectation will go high. The
Very
interviewer
true.
asks you tough questions. So that's a plus to have. But the most important skill is, I would say, in current scenario, you should understand programming languages. So prevailing language is C++ or Python. So you should
Okay.
understand how to code in a Python, how to handle large data set, and how to analyze large data, how to make inference. So you should be strong in the statistical methods, like how to do regression, and not just to do regression, you need able to understand what are the results and able to explain those results, draw inference. So that is an important plus skill. So yeah,
So,
CFA plus Python, I think you're on a
so you're
right
looking
track.
at roughly 3 sets of knowledge intersections. You're looking at, you need to have some level of finance, because
Yeah,
otherwise they will not understand momentums or all the factors which are working. You need to have some coding background. So C++ and Python is what you mentioned, right? But I'm guessing you don't need a coder anymore, because a lot of codes can be written, but I'm assuming you need someone who can understand codes well.
no, it depends. Depends on firm to firm. Like if you are going into a large organization, then your role is limited to the research. So it's okay that you write your code in a crude manner and get an output. But when we work in a different setup, like a startup setup, then you are responsible for start to end life cycle of
Hmm.
your research. So you have to code, and that code should be a higher quality. So
Understood.
that's when your higher coding skill comes into the
So
picture.
some coding is helpful, and then obviously a good level knowledge base on statistics would be very important, right? Okay. What is the typical career trajectory? Like if someone joins in as a first job, what would be their designation?
So if I'm talking about a quant research, so based on my experience and my previous organization designations, you will join as associate quant,
Okay.
then you will become a quant, then you will become a senior quant, then goes to the lead quant, and after that you have to choose the path if you want to go to the managerial route or the individual contributor route. If you go to the managerial route, you will have the titles like manager, senior manager, or you will have titles like principal, senior principal,
Hmm.
and then at the end of day you will become director or a head of a research. So
Understood.
it's a long path.
Hmm. Okay. And what kind of pays are we looking at this industry generally? Like someone, let's assume a very typical case of some student who's probably 21, 22-year old, fresh candidate, maybe past 1 or 2 CFA levels, understands coding and understands stats. What kind of entry level pays are we looking at for freshers?
So to be honest, my conservative estimate is anything above 16 plus 16 lakhs.
You mean for a fresher?
Yeah, if you have the right skills.
That's impressive. I mean, I don't think traditional finance can get you I don't think traditional finance gets you these kind of salaries.
Yeah, and that's when I say the conservative, I'm saying this is the you can this is the lower end.
Really?
Yeah, if you go to the like big MNCs and you land a quant job, then this will be more than that. Like you will get more than this.
Very interesting. So you start at 15 lakh plus, and then depending on how well you perform, I'm guessing you grow with time. How many, is it a big enough market for someone to target? Like, for example, can I be someone who's 18-year-old and decide that, okay, quant is my career in India? Is the market size large enough to absorb enough number of finance enthusiasts or finance candidates?
Yeah, I think because if you look into the currently, like there are established player like MNCs, Indian players, and if you look into the like in general, like if you're like looking at the Indian stock market, it's going to grow. And if
Hmm.
market is going to grow, the more firms or more organization will try to capitalize on that, and they will need the people who understand the research, who knows the quant, or who can work for them as a quant, because yeah, there is a high demand.
Hmm.
But first thing is that you need to build a right skills.
Understood. So, Amit, can you give me a list of 5 very desirable companies or recruiters in India within quant domain? where you think candidate can apply, and that would be a nice place to start? Give me a list of whatever companies that come to your mind.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know it will be a desirable list because there will be my personal bias, but what I understand from, so if you work into the quant finance, so like there will be two different things. If you look into the institution, like you can look into the JP Morgan, they also have quant, but that will be a different kind of quant. Or MSCI also has quant, but they are different kind of quant. They are index quant. But if you look into from the investment perspective, like asset management and all those, or the high frequency trading firm, then comes to the world quant. I said that they are like they are paymasters kind of thing. Then you can look into the Millennium or Citadel. So like these are the like crazy names that you can aim for, but you need a different skill set altogether to get into these names, because these are the top.
Any Indian firms which are building, because the quant mutual fund has become quite popular in the last few years, right? Any other Indian investment side firms that people can apply?
Indian
Your
investment,
firm definitely people can apply. It's called True Beacon, right?
yeah, True Beacon.
Okay, so reach out to Amit on True Beacon.
So yeah, you can look into the Capital Mind, Alpha Grape. All these people are
Capital
also
Mind,
working.
as in your Deepak Shenoy, the
Yeah.
Bangalore based Capital Mind. Okay, they're doing quant now.
Yeah. So everyone requires a quant. I don't know exactly they are doing a quant as a product, but in backend, everyone requires a quant.
So are you telling me that almost every investment management firm today is looking at some quant guys,
Yeah.
if not as a quant
Whatever.
strategy, but also as a support?
Yeah, support. Because anyone like who is taking a decision, the people who was taking a decision, they need supporting analysis. They need to look into the data, and they don't have the time, and they want someone who is good at it, who is doing the research, who is reliable, who understand the data, and then present that data in the structured manner, so the decision maker don't have to go and do his hand dirty.
Very interesting. So maybe if I were a fresher, and correct me if I go wrong, but let's assume that I am 21-year-old, just past CFA level, or maybe a BCom. I don't have a maths background, but then I can teach myself some stats. I can start with maybe basic regression, time series, and eventually do a little bit of machine learning, and plenty of, I think, knowledge available on internet today. I can teach myself some coding, and then I start applying to any of these places and hope that I get my first break, right? That would be a right way to do it.
Yes, but just to be realistic, as you said that like the mentioned places, like first of all, there are two things. In particular industry, tag matters. Yeah, I know the skill matters with the tag, like let's say CFA, FRM, or you have done MBA from some prestigious institute, or you are the IIT or some like the top college grad, then that place you separately. But if you don't have that particular tag with you, then you have to build yourself up. You can't directly aim for the top firms. You'll have to start from some normal firm which will give you a chance. We will let you learn from ground up. Then you can build a skill, because first you need to build a skill, practice those skills, and when you are you build enough the portfolio as in not investment portfolio, the projects, or you understand what's going on in the industry, then
Something
you
to
can aim for
demonstrate my skill to the client.
demonstrate. Yeah.
Understood. So you were saying it's not easy to get the first break, but
Yeah.
then once I get in, then, and I think the salaries look really, really interesting, because honestly, at this moment, I don't know if finance freshers are everywhere are making this kind of salary. So it's a
No.
good skill set to, it's a good aspiration to have for students to pursue. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Amit. I'll change gears. I'll come to Utsav now. Utsav, you're in wealth management domain. You said you're running your own book now.
Yeah.
Last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So my understanding of this industry is that there are different client segments, right? So you have mass affluent segment. Maybe India mein, I don't know, mass affluent would be what? 10-20 lakh type of client.
So there are different definitions of this across different organizations. Typically, anyone having investable surplus of about 50 lakhs to 5 crores is typically termed as mass affluent. But again, it's subjective to different organizations.
Okay, very interesting. So someone even with an investment check size of 5 crore can be
Is a mass affluent client. Yeah.
Very interesting. हम तो बचपन में सोचते थे करोड़पति बन जाए, मतलब बहुत ही लाइफ में कुछ कर लिया है. नाउ इट फील्स लाइक करोड़ इज नथिंग, नो? And
True.
and then after that you have HNI segment,
Yes.
which is typically 5 crores and above,
So
I'm guessing.
5 crores to 100 crores investable surplus would come under HNI, and anyone having 100 crores and above would be termed as ultra HNI.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. And what kind of client segment are you looking at?
Sure. So at Prospects, our sweet spot is clients having investable surplus between 5 crore to 100 crore. That is the HNI segment. So that is where we operate. But saying that we have clients below that as well, who might eventually migrate to the HNI segment.
Understood. So is it fair to call that within wealth management industry, the area that you're looking at, can we call it as a private wealth, since your private matlab basically सिर्फ अमीर लोगों को serve कर रहे हैं? Is that correct way to understand?
No, that is not the right way to look at it. I'll just set some context around this.
Okay.
So when we started Prospects about 10 years back, when the founders started this organization, back then actually we identified a gap that predominant players back then, 10 years back in India, either there were players like big banks catering to very big clients, people having huge amount of corpus, or then there were players who were catering to masses. So when it came to mass segment, the predominant approach was product selling, where depending upon the transactional need, a product was provided to the client. But over the last 20-25 years in India, there is a segment which is kind of growing very massively, which is the professional segment. So people like us who are salaried, who have done academically well, doing professionally really well, earning decent income. But may not have good amount of wealth to start with, but they can actually eventually build a decent corpus for themselves. So that is the segment where there were no players targeting that segment specifically and providing solutions for them. So that is where Prospects kind of came into place. It's a coined word, spurt in prosperity with experts for professionals. So that is the motto that we took. If you look at this segment, wealth management comes much later. Wealth creation is the first objective. आप पहले बहुत wealth create कर लोगे, then only you will manage that wealth, right? Now, because wealth creation was the objective, we also took a very, very different approach. I would kind of say that we might be very few players in the industry, one of the very few players who are doing exactly 180-degree opposite to what the entire industry does. So I'll just give a small example to you. Whenever you have conversation around investments with any specific person or any specific corporate people, generally the discussions are centered around returns, like what sort of returns this can generate, what sort of risk is there. But if we look at the wealth creation perspective, the compound equation formula that we learn, P amount is equal to P into 1 plus R upon 100 power T. So for any person, there are three variables that defines his lifetime return, right? The principal that he is investing, the rate of return that he generates, and the time period that he gives to his investment. Now, if we mathematically look at this equation, there is a compound interest sign associated with T, there is a multiplication sign associated with P, and there is an addition sign that is associated with R. Now, mathematically, T is the strongest, followed by P and followed by R. Secondly, from investors' perspective, if you look at whether you can control P and T, of course, you can decide how much to invest and how long to invest. But can you control R? That is not in your control. Market forces will determine whether it is fixed income, whether it is equity, everything will be dependent on market forces. Now, something which is uncontrollable from investors' perspective and something which is third order mathematically, why the entire focus is on R when it comes to wealth creation or wealth management thing. So we decided to kind of take a different approach. So our approach is completely financial planning oriented. When we create investment portfolio, our entire guiding principle is diversification. So returns will fall into place over time. But if a client is coming to me and has 100 rupees of savings, if he's not investing 70-80 rupees of that into equity, if he is in the wealth creation phase of his life, then no matter what strategy I create for him in the equity domain, it will not work for him. So the first
Agreed.
thing is he should be adequately invested, and then I'll ensure that he's not poorly invested. So if I take care of that, then my entire job is to kind of behaviorally counsel him throughout the investment journey so that he doesn't digress from his path that we have crafted in the initial phase. So with that entire thing, our entire processes and everything is crafted. So most of the clients that doesn't come into that 5 to 100 crore bucket in our scheme of things, maybe those clients who are early in their investment journey and may eventually fall into that 5 to 100 crore segment down the line.
Utsav, I must say this is one of the best pitches I've heard from a wealth management, and we have, because I have a lot of students. I've been working with many of them, but a fantastic pitch, and I'm totally sold. I feel like maybe अपना check लेके आता हूँ आपके पास, and I agree. I think the end component is because at times ऐसे in CFA we use this Texas calculator, right? So हम
Yeah.
class में कभी-कभी खेलते हैं. So even if you compound something at 6-7% for 30-40 years, the number looks
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
So which is true. I think over a period of time, I have my personal belief is now that N is extremely important. But I
Yeah.
think being in this industry, I think for us N most of the time comes automatically क्योंकि invest तो market में तो रहना ही है, right? And then of course P is important, but you can't. I think it's very difficult to control P. That's a function of your income, and then some part
So
of
that's both the function of your income and your behavior.
risk capital. हाँ.
तो मैं तो अपने clients को बोलता हूँ change your equation from income minus expenses equal to savings to income minus savings equal to expense. So on day one, decide what percentage of your disposable income you want to save. Save on the very first day your salary gets credited. Now whatever is left is your expense. Now is your expense. And if somebody is not saving enough when he is earning say 50,000 rupees per month, they will not save enough when they earn 10 lakh rupees per month as well, because it's all the function of discipline. There is no end to kind of upgrade your lifestyle. It should always be within your means.
Very true. 100%. I think convinced. And I think behavior in the long run has a much more influence on wealth than
Anything else.
compounding. Very true. So, Utsav, did you always think that this is a career? What was the reason for you to get into this? Give us a little bit of thought process. And then
Sure.
also give us some landscape on career within this wealth management space.
Yeah. So when I was doing my MBA, of course, like any finance graduate, investment banking and equity research are the most sought after profiles that people look for. But it's not very easy to land up those jobs, particularly if you're not from tier 1B schools in the country. Now, because I was a CFA student while I was doing my MBA and I used to attend a lot of CFA forums as well. So I was fortunate to kind of get introduced to very senior and decent wealth managers in the industry who were operating back then. So my interest in wealth management started from that while I was an MBA student itself. And also I could figure out that the earnings potential for any individual in this space is humongous. So that is, of course, another, major driving factor that kind of attracts you in a particular domain. So with that in
Can
mind,
you explain that a little bit on earning potential? What do you like? Can you give us a little more?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you why and why I'm emphasizing on this, right?
Yeah.
So मैं 15 साल से पढ़ा रहा हूँ. When I started teaching, my thinking of teaching was I love this subject and I'd already passed CFA. So मैं सोचा कि पढ़ाऊंगा तो at least मेरे को खुद को याद रहेगा. Otherwise, in a few years I'll forget. And then a lot of students who came early days, we used to tell them, come if you want to do the subject and all of it. But over a period of time, I've discovered number one reason, no matter what people say on the surface, number one reason why people choose this career is because उनको दिखता है कि इसमें पैसा ज़्यादा बनेगा. Right? They'll be able to make a lot of money in this space. So give us a little inside scoop on why do you think you can make a lot of money in this industry?
Sure. So I'll tell you, 95% of people who are already employed in this industry right now are doing things in a wrong way, and that is the reason they don't end up earning humongous money. So they might be earning decent money, but that is not sustainable. Firstly, please understand how we generate revenue from our services that we provide to our clients. It is as a percentage of the assets that we manage.
Are you on the
Uh,
RI model or distribution model?
We have both the licenses. We have clients under both the models. So
Understood.
client can choose whether they want to be in RI or but the cost incidence for the client and the fees for us are almost similar in both the models.
Understood.
So fortunately, with regulatory intervention over the past 10 years, cost for the client has come down significantly. And that is both good for the industry and the client segment as well. So as we speak, our net revenue would be close to 0.5 to 0.6% of the assets that we manage. So that is typically the revenue stream that we earn from the core business. Now, let us understand, say, we are in a transactional business where we are selling any financial product or facilitating any transaction and earning brokerage out of it. So for example, if you are in a real estate domain, you sell a 10 crore house and earn a 1% brokerage on that or a 2% brokerage on that. You earn 10 lakhs or 20 lakh rupees on that thing, which is sizable kind of amount to come. But the thing is that that transaction lasted for that one thing only. On the contrary, you invest a 10 crore portfolio, which is growing at least at 12% per annum. If the client is not investing anything additional, if he's investing anything additional, it will be growing at a much higher rate. And you're earning 0.6% out of that every year. So if you just put that cash flow chart and do that net present value calculation, the lifetime value of that client is very high. Now, the only catch is whether that client will stay with you for that entire lifetime and whether he will keep giving you his 100% wallet share or not. Now, the thing is, many people don't end up capturing that because they do things the wrong way. If you do things the right way, the client will only kind of grow and he will also give you a lot of referrals to kind of serve. So at Prospects, we are currently managing 900 crores of assets, complete referral driven, not even a single client acquired through outbound sales. So the thing is here, when I say you have to do things the right way, it's basically you have to identify what is your primary value add that you're doing to the client. See, you're not doing execution services, so nobody will pay you in this digital world to do any sort of execution. Secondly, you are not an asset manager. So your job is not to research on sectors and stocks. If you look at HDFC AMC, they have a 71-member research analyst and fund manager team. If they have to pick up a auto sector stock, the sub team is covering the entire sector, researching both qualitative and quantitative on various peer stocks and then picking up a particular stock. Firstly, I don't have time to do that. My job is to manage clients, not research on stocks. Secondly, I don't have sufficient resources to do that consistently in a right manner. On the contrary, firstly, my job is to understand my client's profile well, create his asset allocation, his diversified portfolio, and manage his behavior. And secondly, I have to research on those fund managers. There are 44 AMCs in India. There are more than 4,000 mutual funds that is running. There are 453 PMS that is running in India. So my job is to research on them, pick up good fund managers, create a combination which is adequately diversified, and give that to the client. Now, the moment you understand what value you should be adding and you consistently add that, that client becomes a multi-generation client for you. He will never leave you. On the contrary, he will not be just seeking your advice on personal finance. He will end up seeking your advice on each and everything in his life that might be related to his finances in any manner. So 2 days back, I was having a conversation with a client. He had this conversation that I am looking to adopt a child. Am I financially capable of adopting that child or not? We did his entire financial planning and we gave our suggestion. So that is where you migrate to. Now, if you do that, then the earnings that you generate at the firm level and of course at the employee level is quite high. Just I'll give you how the career graph looks like when you kind of enter this space. Firstly, anybody who as a fresher wants to join this industry generally joins as a junior advisor who might be working with a senior advisor in terms of co-managing the clients with him or her. The thing is, people should be very, very candid about that they are joining the right organization, because there are bigger organizations who are doing good job, but most organizations may be transactional in nature. So you should not be a salesperson, but you should be in the advisory space. Now, once you spend decent amount of time as junior advisor, then you yourself start managing clients independently. Then you become a senior advisor. And usually in any wealth setup, the highest level is you scale up as a partner where you run your own P&L. And then your choice is to whether you want to go into the managerial space or you want to be in the advisory space altogether. So if you want to be the managerial space, then you dissociate yourself from managing clients and start looking after the management aspects of the organization.
So generally Utsav entry level pays क्या होता है इसमें इस टाइप के डोमेन में?
So again, it varies. Usually fintech spaces में आपको थोड़ा ज़्यादा मिल सकता है, but typically 8 to 10 lakhs is something that you can easily start with in this space. The gestation period in wealth management is pretty high, unlike other spaces. So आप जैसे investment banking वगैरह देखोगे, there from day one people start earning huge money, but generally career after 45 becomes a lot more unstable. On the contrary, in wealth management, it's like a wine. The older you get, people trust you for
More
your wisdom,
valuable.
and technically you can work until you want. So इसमें if you have spent 5 to 10 years in a decent manner, you scale up at a really senior level, and your earnings are really large, and it is linked to your revenue that you generate, which is kind of increasing on a daily basis. Like मतलब इसमें आपका earnings generally downgrade नहीं होता. It just keeps upgrading even if the market conditions are not good enough.
Yeah, and there is a very interesting thought exercise we did. I think we were studying Nuama Wealth, which is a listed entity,
Yeah.
and I was thinking of investing that in my personal portfolio, and also one situation where I was advising. So what we realize is that in a wealth management business, you have three engines of growth, which is very, very interesting. One is that if you don't do anything and just support existing clients, then also the market is going to compound those assets at 12, 13, 14%, depending on whatever your mix is, right? But that is a free growth given. जो 15% growth के लिए पूरा देश में लड़ाई हो रहा है in that industry, this in asset management or wealth management space at 15% you get more or less free, right, over a long period of time. Then I think the second engine of growth that you get is you get regular flows of SIP.
Yeah.
And SIP could be maybe 1%, 2%, 5% of your book. So whatever percentage of book it is, that gives you additional 3-4% of growth. The third, also very interesting observation you have, we made is that you also get to share in the growth of your clients. So let's assume that your client salary is growing at 10% per annum. By virtue of that, their investment portfolio or SIP book will also increase by 10% per annum, right? So overall, you're looking at 25-30% type of CAGR and
So
at least minimum.
36% CAGR comes for free. मतलब आप कुछ भी नहीं करो, if you just maintain your existing clients, minimum 36% growth होगा. 12% market का growth, 12% SIP का growth, because if you are managing a 500 crore book, your SIP book should be typically 5 crores, 1% of that. So technically 1% per month, 12% per annum.
Very
And
interesting.
12% through existing clients incremental net sales. वो 1% per month आपको बिना कुछ किया आ जाएगा. Even if I go on a holiday, I'll get that for sure. Now, if you're actually doing something, then the growth is higher than that. So at Prospects, our growth has averaged at around 45 to 50% CAGR for the last 7-8 years. We expect it to be above 40% for the next 10 years or so. So this is the only industry that can give you that growth.
That kind of growth.
Other industry kind of gives that.
True.
The only catch is, you should be able to manage your clients. They should not run away
So
from
I'll
it.
tell you one real situation, because I'm personally very bullish on this, and I've been recommending a lot of my students to do it, because I feel India genuinely needs high quality, ethics driven advisors or wealth managers across the board, right? Because we are kind of tired of bank RMs trying to sell us insurance, and we have so many cases like those. But now I have one particular student in Mumbai, and I hope he's listening to the session today. Based on my recommendation, he started that business last year. एक साल में उसने करीबन 70-80 lakhs AUM is been able to manage, which is decent for the first year. But that's obviously not earning him enough income today, right?
Yeah.
Because 70, 80 lakhs of AUM means he's making 50 or 1,000 rupees per annum. Whereas his friends have taken a job, they're working in different domain. वो साल का 10 lakh, 8 lakh कमा रहा है. So now this gentleman is started losing patience.
Yeah.
Right? He's like कि एक साल हो गया है, things are not moving, clients are not writing checks. So what do you do in a situation like this? And what would your advice be for this particular individual?
Sure. So this is a very valid problem that you have highlighted, and this is one of the reason either most good people leave the industry or they get into that transactional mode where they may not be quite ethical with their clients. So we have to first understand that the gestation period is very high in this industry. So if you don't have at least 3 years of runway where you have mentally thought that you won't be earning enough cash flows for 3 years, you should not jump into that. First, you should kind of make adequate reserves before coming into this. Secondly, my earnest advice would be please interact with good advisors in this space. In Mumbai, we have a lot of good advisors who are operating in boutique setups. So at times, there are things that we do which may not be which may not translate immediately into business, but can go a long way in kind of getting you clients. So new advisors generally don't pay too much hit into that because they are on their toes, the cash flows are not
Check
coming.
लेके आना है.
So आप जब and advisor community is very close knit community. They help each other like quite well. So the rivalry is very, very low because the pie itself is very small and the opportunity set is very large. So when you kind of start doing those, then you start and see, you never know. You get a client who writes you a 5 crore check on the very first day. So from 80 lakhs, you just increase your AUM by like 6-fold overnight. So so you need to be doing the right things. So you just speak to good advisors on where your efforts are going and whether you are chasing the right things or not.
Right. Very, very useful. Thank you very much, Utsav, for sharing this.
Yeah.
So 3 year of patience, having sufficient cash to kind of support, and then maybe
Yeah.
taking advice of finding mentors is what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
Correct. Now I'll go to Prathamesh. Prathamesh, thank you for being very patient.
No, I'm very motivated after listening to Amit and Utsav.
Okay, great. So Prathamesh, give us a little insight on your career choices. You're a CFA charter holder from which year?
November 2022, I received my charter.
Understood. And you started working in which year?
I started working in 2018.
So I'm guessing you started CFA preparation more or less when you started working.
Yeah, by end of I wrote level 1 in December 2018 or
ठीक है.
November 20 around.
Okay. So give us a little scoop on I think risk management career first. Is CFA a good course choice for someone who wants to work in risk management? That's my first question. Or are they better off doing FRM?
So actually, my experience says that employers don't distinguish that much between CFA and FRM. So as far as I was able to crack a risk role without an FRM. But definitely, if you have an FRM, it will definitely help you. So employers generally don't distinguish between that.
So for them, it's same CFA, FRM.
Yeah, it's in the job descriptions, you would always see CFA, FRM, CQF written.
Understood. Okay. And typically, what kind of skills? Is it true that in order to be good at risk management, you have to have a very heavy understanding of quant or numbers, especially to grow in risk management, or that's not necessarily true?
That depends on what you're doing and what firm you are working in. That would definitely be ideal, and that would definitely help you having knowledge of quant and like how to make those calculations and all. And depends on firm to firm. So yes, it would help you, but like a lot of firms actually what they do is they leverage vendors. So Bloomberg, MSCI, Aladdin is what a lot of firms use. But yeah, definitely the calculation and quant definitely helps.
Understood. And what kind of career? I think what are typical entry level pays for a fresher to get into risk management vertical? You're in which risk, by the way, Prathamesh?
Investment risk.
Investment. Okay, very interesting. So are you looking at risk of some portfolios?
Yes. So basically market risk, like wire and tracking error and stress test.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm guessing all the VAR and all those numbers are generated by the system.
Yes, those are generated by system, but yeah, I mean we can always verify.
Verify the calculations. Right. So typically fresher what is the designation of a fresher and what kind of salaries are people getting right now?
So it depends largely on multiple factors. Like obviously it depends on the skill sets. Like if the candidate has quant skills like Python and maybe SQL, Power BI, then definitely the salaries would go up. Then again, it depends a lot, I think, on location as well. So if you go towards Bangalore, Mumbai, Hyderabad, I think the salaries are definitely higher than Pune. Or even in Gurgaon, for example, the salaries are definitely higher as compared to Pune. So the location choice and the firm will also define that for you. So if you say in Pune, maybe entry level market risk would be something between 6 to 10 lakhs, something around that.
6 to 10 lakhs, right? Okay, understood. And Prathamesh, this question, I often think of it. Do you think a lot of risk management jobs have become operational in nature? A very heavy element of, because systems is doing all the maths, so it's mostly an oversee, and therefore do you think there's a risk that maybe AI might be able to chip in and eat up some of these jobs available?
So somewhere it is true. Like it is, I mean, again, it depends from firm to firm and the job role. But yes, I do agree that somewhere it is becoming slightly operational in nature. But I still don't foresee a lot of AI coming in. I mean, definitely it will help us. So, for example, someone is already working in risk management, definitely can leverage AI. But at the moment, the opportunities seem a bit limited. I mean, definitely on the automation side, yes, you can use Python, you can use ChatGPT to help you in your performing your role better. But I don't see that AI eliminating the roles.
Understood. Prathamesh, if I'm a research analyst, the dream is to become a fund manager, maybe in most of the cases, right, or a head of research. If I'm in private wealth, I want to probably have my own setup and be a partner or a principal. So, वैसे risk management में what is that dream designation you're looking at? Is it CRO or is it risk modeling? What type of designations do people look for? The top level in risk management.
Top definitely I think would be chief risk officer, because CRO would also focus on a lot on the qualitative aspects. So I think modeling would be more quant side. That is also helpful and required, but I think a CRO definitely needs both the qualitative aspect as well.
Understood. Okay, fair enough. And would you recommend this as a good career choice for someone who's entering into finance and looking at options? Do you think risk management has a good demand going forward in the next 10, 15, 20 years?
Yeah, definitely. If like for example, if you are in Pune, for example, a lot of risk roles are coming up in multiple firms, is what I see. But I would recommend students to have Python and SQL skills. That will greatly make them employable, along with CFA and FRM.
Understood. Because what I'm hearing, Prathamesh, on the ground is a lot of GCCs, right? Global
Yeah.
capacity centers, including the one where you work now. I've heard after that UBS and Credit Suisse merger or acquisition, there was a large number of people from both the organizations who kind of flooded the market. So market was in oversupply territory for a lot of these roles. तो job लोगों को इतने आसानी से मिल नहीं रहे थे.
Yes.
And what I'm hearing now, because I work with few of these organizations, मैं training के लिए वगैरह जाता हूँ. What I'm hearing from them is that the recruitment has slowed down at a lot of places, or at times it has also stopped. Do you think this is structural, or do you think it's cyclical, temporary है और बाद में ठीक होगा?
Yeah, so what you're saying is, I think, true. Yes, that is definitely happening, but I think it is cyclical in nature. because we also expect a lot other GCCs to come in. And I mean, we as students, we would not look to restrict ourselves to GCCs, right? We can always move to Indian firms
Indian
or
player.
other businesses, core businesses as well. So we are not limited to GCCs.
Understood. Okay. Thank you very much, Prathamesh. That has been insightful. All right. So now I'll quickly switch gear. I think now I'll involve all three of you into conversation. First, throw a couple of questions at you, and then we'll go to YouTube. So I'll start with you, Amit. You're not a CFA charter holder. What's your view of the CFA program? एकदम honest बताना. आपको लगता है कि अगर ये लोग, the word that I can't use on the internet, ये लोग ये है, तो वो भी बोल सकते हो. What's your view on the CFA program? And are you working with any CFA charter holders, or have you worked with them?
Yes, yeah. Like in my previous roles, I have worked with a CFA FRM charter holder. So I don't have against anything like about them. So I just consider it as one of the avenues where you can upskill yourself. So my personal opinion is that, so just to be honest, I didn't do CFA or FRM is because I have already done like enough masters. So that was enough. And if I could get some free time, I would obviously love to add any charter, because it's always good to keep on learning, because uh, I have learned some things in the past. If I'm not using them, I will keep on forgetting them. But if it's good to keep on learning, and other than learning, I think the CFA or FRM, it's give you a venue to network with the people. Because so far we have looked into the technical aspect of like how to get job, what skill to build. But what I have learned from these 8 years is that networking is also important. You need
Very
to
true.
network with the right people at the right time. It's not just for asking for a job, but you build repo, and when time is right, those people will help you to grow in your career.
Understood.
So yeah, CFA FRM helps, and I have read a few books on FRM, and and I found it interesting because it gives you overall knowledge on how the banking system works, what are the risks are there. So I found it insightful.
Okay, fantastic. Question to Prathamesh. Prathamesh, now that you're a CFA charter holder, एक तो obviously, do you feel कि कुछ क्या कहते हैं ना उसको, like does anyone respect you a little bit more on the floor कि अरे ये CFA बैठा है? Because at least students have that thinking, right? कि मैं एक बार CFA बन के जाऊंगा, then there would be a red carpet in the office for me. So one is that. Second, does it pay more because of the fact that you're a CFA charter holder?
So the red carpet is definitely not there. Yes, when people do come up to you and they do ask you, and I mean, it is obviously helpful while changing jobs. It does open opportunities, and also you gain a lot of knowledge. So that was my primary objective, to gain knowledge and have some career advancement. So those are the objectives are definitely satisfied with that. And sorry, what was the second question?
No, second was like, does it help you get better pays? For example, same Prathamesh but no CFA charter versus Prathamesh with CFA charter. Is there a difference in the two pay?
Pay as in with opportunities, there would be a significant difference. I don't think I would be in the current organization without a CFA, or even in my prior organization. I think I would have continued to be in wealth management maybe, but like there as well, I don't think I would have done something as Amit is, Utsav is doing something of that scale. So it would just be a sales type of role that I would have done maybe without a CFA.
So you're saying more opportunities, better pay, and maybe a little bit of respect.
Yes.
How about you, Utsav? What's your view on the CFA program? And particularly, I don't know if you're aware, now we have specialized pathways at level 3. And they've introduced one pathway which is on private wealth, which is a extremely lousy pathway, because I recently finished recording course for it. But what's your view? The curriculum will improve hopefully with time. But what's your view on this?
Sure. So personally, CFA has helped me a lot. The thing is, CFA teaches you a lot of things in finance under the sun. So you get to widen your knowledge while you are studying for it. In terms of career, it might help you land a job. For example, in my case, Prospers was looking for a much senior resource when I got into here. But because I had CFA and some kind of relevant experience, they considered me. But after you have landed up the job, it's more of how you gain skills
That's
there
true.
and, kind of do that. CFA won't kind of help you further from there. Particularly in my profession, clients respect you a lot if you are
Yeah,
a
that's what
CFA
I was going
chartered.
to ask. Okay, very interesting. So,
So,
do clients know that? Because I think India, everyone knows CA, right?
yeah,
But do you think now that awareness of CFA on the client side, especially, is there?
it's massive.
It's
Most
massive.
of the clients that I meet are aware of a CFA charter. So maybe it has become popular over the past 5, 7 years. And they respect you a lot for that. Personally, I ended up acquiring some really big ticket clients because,
You had
they
CFA.
wanted to interact with me in the first place because of my charter. So that helps a lot. But to be very frank, in terms of the skills that we kind of use in our day-to-day tasks and other things, um, even if you're not a CFA, even if you're a CFA and you have not acquired those skills, you won't succeed. So CFA can at best be help you kind of land a decent job in the first place.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, it's a one benefit. I completely agree. I've seen some phenomenal people in wealth management space who don't have fancy finance degrees and they're doing fantastic. But वो एक क्या होता है ना, I have also met people जो who tell me कि सर मैंने client को high duration product recommend किया, but मेरे को actually high duration क्या है पता नहीं है.
Hmm.
मेरे को ये पता है कि sales pitch, I know how to pitch it to a client, but I don't know how the product works. So I think having a holistic finance knowledge also,
Exactly.
you don't have that कौन सा syndrome कहते हैं उसको, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like I don't know it, but I can just somehow get away. So you at least feel that okay, I know my stuff well. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that must have been a big confidence
Yeah,
booster.
yeah. Yes.
Right. Okay. Now, to question to each one of you, if someone, let's assume they have chosen either CFA, FRM, whatever path, right? And they want to focus on one additional skill along with their studies. Okay, so we'll start with you, Utsav. What skill would you recommend कि आप CFA का you study CFA और ये इस चीज पे बहुत अच्छे से काम करो because this will come in very handy in building a successful career.
Sure. So, particular to my profession, emotional quotient is quite important. So, behavioral finance is something I would urge people to kind of study in greater detail if they are looking to build a career in wealth management space. We don't give ideal solutions to client. We are dealing with real clients. We give them real solutions, which may be quite deviating from what the ideal solution is. But that is what it is. Like you have to kind of understand their psychology, counsel them, and kind of do that. So many people with less IQ but good EQ end up being very good wealth managers, and not the other way around.
But then how do you, sorry, and it might sound very stupid question, but I mean, let's assume कि I don't know if my EQ is good or not. I'm a student, right? अब मैं, you said that good EQ will help me get a great career. So fine, now I'm committed to increase my EQ. What do I do? Like, should I sign up for some course or how do you think?
So the best way that I feel is, so it said that you should learn from other people's mistakes. So you should start reading really good books written by really good finance professionals, and there are a lot of them. If somebody wants suggestions on that, I can kind of provide that. Now,
Sure.
when
Can
you
you
read those
suggest a couple of
perspectives,
good books?
so
Maybe and also one on behavioral finance.
yeah, so on behavioral finance, so there is this book by Nick Murray, Simple Wealth, Inevitable Wealth. That is like a very, very good book that everyone should read. The other one is, of course, Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. That is also a very good book. Then by an Indian author, so the Funds India's research head, Arun Kumar. So he recently authored a book, 80/20 Money Makeover. So that is also quite a good book. Now, when you read those books, now they have like their years of experience and wisdom they have just penned down there. Now you learn a lot of perspectives which you may not have thought about initially. So that will go a long way in helping. Secondly, is that you can connect a lot of good people over LinkedIn who keep on writing a lot of good content. So there also you end up learning a lot of
Learning from
stuff
them.
on the behavioral part of it.
Understood. Very insightful. So I think
Yeah.
your recommendation would be to pursue your career in the traditional channel CFA, FRM, MBA, and then
Yeah.
support it with reading.
Yeah.
Could be reading books, but also learning on Twitter or LinkedIn and all those areas, right? Okay.
Exactly.
Any how important is interpersonal skills in private wealth domain? Because at the end of the day, रोज client से बात करना है, and you have to, like, you when you made the pitch, you sounded very convincing, right? So
Yeah.
how does one build a skill to pitch like you?
So firstly, it comes with experience. So of course, when you start your career, you would do a lot of mistakes, and by the virtue of doing those mistakes, you will learn. But in our domain, communication skill is very important, both written and verbal. So ultimately, you saying the right thing is not important. You saying the right thing in a right way is very important. So some people struggle who may not have very good oratory skills or may not have very good writing skills. But this is of paramount importance, at least in our space.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do any additional courses to work on your communication skills, or it came to you?
Nothing. I think MBA, just runs you through a lot of presentations over a 2-year
to
period.
learn that? Yeah.
And I had been like a good presenter throughout my undergrad as well. So I didn't find a lot of challenge here.
But you think public speaking skills, I think if someone is a good orator, automatically, I think they would have a good chance of being successful in this space.
Very successful. So if somebody is a good public speaker, they become very successful in this space.
Because I live in Pune, and we have been searching for a good public speaking place because I want my students to acquire that skill. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to find anything. Okay. Let's Amit, to you. Someone has chosen either MBA Finance or CFA, FRM, whatever career, and they want to be in quant. That's the career they want. So what additional courses or skills or books would you recommend them?
So I would suggest that there are a lot of courses, but I won't recommend any course because thing is that course they bound you, normally they constrain you. So I will say that let's say you have done MBA, you have done CFA. First of all, try to brush up your skills. Whatever you have learned in the CFA and MBA, try to understand it in simple terms so you can explain others in simple terms. Get your technical skills in the place because at least you need Python to get started with because otherwise how we will handle the data.
पाइथन के
Once
लिए
you
कोई
have
कोर्स वगैरह है? सॉरी मैं इंटरप्ट कर रहा हूँ. पाइथन के लिए कोई
yeah
कोर्स वगैरह है क्या?
Python, there are a lot of material available in the internet. So it's not like a specific course because why I'm not saying any specific course is that a lot of these courses are structured from a different perspective, like from a programming perspective. And here you don't need that programming perspective. You're not developing a software. You need the Python to understand the problem, write that problem in the code level, get the data and solve that problem. So here requirement is different. So here you can you can go to the basic Python tutorial, you learn the syntax and you start working on that. Like if you have done the CFA,
Do
you will
something.
have some problems in CFA. You can translate into the Python and see how that Python code is
Very
performing
interesting.
because now you know how that is done manually and how you transferred into the Python. So that's how you build a skill where you can transfer knowledge from you to the machine. So that's one thing. And if I have to recommend one course, won't say it a course, it's a degree. I would highly recommend World Quant. That's a 2-year course, and I would say it's highly commitment because it's a very rigorous, and you have to do it rigorously. There are 10 modules over a span of 2 years, and if you fail in one, you have to repeat that module, and it will last around 2.5 months for one module.
And
And if
that
you fail
gives you
twice,
a financial engineering degree.
yeah. So they have accredited to the we have IGNU Open University. So World Quant has their affiliation into the US. So they have some they're authorized to give a master's degree. And it's not about a degree. That course gives you the flavor of what exactly quant is. So it starts from the financial market, econometrics, then it will go to the stochastic calculus, it will go to the portfolio management, risk management. It will cover everything that is possible in the quant,
Very
and it's
interesting.
from practitioner perspective. It's not a theoretical course that someone who has never worked in the quant and teaching you a quant. It's basically they have developed that course from their experience while running the World Quant as a firm. So they wanted that education to available to all. So that's when they come up with this course.
Is it a paid course?
No, it's a free course, but you have to pass under entrance test. So basically,
Very
entrance test entails you first you have to have passport because you have to give the photocopy of passport. Then you have to give the test which incorporate linear algebra, Python, and some bit of integration, all those things. So you have to pass that test, and I think they have 2 cohorts in a year. So you can enroll in twice a year. Yeah.
Very nice.
So it's a very
That's
rigorous
very
course.
insightful. Very insightful. Thank you very much for sharing that. World Quant, right? That's the organization.
Yeah, World Quant.
Okay.
So
all
World
right.
Quant is a company and World Quant University for
Okay.
if you have to look for the course.
Okay. And is this highly desired by employers? Like you had World Quant, financial engineering.
Yeah, I won't say that it will be highly desired by employer, but the people who are in the quant space, they know about the World Quant, they are aware about the World Quant University, and it will give you a chance to get like your foot in the interview. And once you are in interview, and if you have done this course rigorously, not just that for doing sake, if you have absorbed that knowledge, then I think you can crack
तो
any
मिल
quant
जाएगा,
interview.
रोज मिल जाएगा. Okay. And what do you think, Prathamesh? Any thing would you recommend along with CFA FRM for a good career in risk management?
Yeah, in risk management, I think Python and SQL is like mandatory. So you have to have that. So that is what I would recommend. As Amit said, I mean, there's a lot on the internet, so you can pick up any specific as per your requirement, and maybe also Power BI to visualize the data.
Data. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Let me just quickly go to YouTube. We'll take some questions from there. So all the participants on YouTube, I hope you've enjoyed the session so far. If you have any questions, this will be a good time to ask. Okay, I'll start with Priyanshu's question first. It says, I don't need to share my screen, just a minute. Yeah. It says, I just turned 25. I've been getting and applying to various quant role, but not getting shortlisted. What minimum things I must add to my resume for a quant role? Currently waiting for level 2 results and BTech in computer science. Great. I think Amit, you can take that question. 25-year-old applying but not getting a call. What can he do?
So what I could gather from that person has done BTech. So I am assuming that he has the programming knowledge. So he can brush up on the programming knowledge, and he's doing the level 2. So he's already like closer to the level 3. So once he has the level 3, that will give him an edge. But I think level 2 is also an edge once you put it on your resume. But apart from that, I would suggest that he should try some like replicating the papers. So when I say the replicating papers, there are a lot of research paper out there from the industry veterans and the investment experts. You can take the paper. Most probably, I will suggest US based paper because India you won't get data that easily and or freely available. So you can take any paper on the quant investment in the US and try to replicate that paper. So what it showcase to the employer that you are aware that there are research paper, because that's what the quant job entails, that reading a lot of research paper, try to seeing that if that idea works in what particular in India, or if you're working in another investment space, if that work in that particular space. So what you're trying to showcase is that you can read research paper, you can understand the math behind it, you can source the data, clean the data, and then convert into the working prototype. So you can do that as a project and list out that I have done these project. And to be honest, getting shortlisted is nothing to do with the skill. It's just a resume building, putting simple things in the fancy word, which will be captured by the resume shortlister, because normally resume are not shortlisted by the person, they are shortlisted by the softwares. And even if person is looking at the resume, they don't have much of a time to go through all the resumes. So you have to put something that catch their eye. So you have to pick some one project or one skill that is very in demand, or like one recently. Yes, I would suggest the very good project will help you to get shortlisted, because if that particular person who is looking at your resume is interested in that project, be it a machine learning project, be it a financial analysis project, so then he will be inclined to like give you
At
first
least
round.
give
And
you a call, right?
yeah,
So these research papers, can you recommend 2 or 3 hot papers that you think right now a lot of people industry is excited about? So maybe if the
so
students
yeah,
will
I
do
would
project.
suggest that if you want to start in a quant and you want to work on a research paper, so now there are the different problems in the quant that people are trying to solve. You can't solve like a problem. You can solve the problem and come up with a foolproof solution, but you can look into the regime detection. Like we say that we are in a bull regime, we are in a bear regime, but we say that once that regime has passed, we're looking at historical
Correct.
data. Right now, with a high confidence, no one can say if what will happen tomorrow. It is a current regime. I can say with
Right.
a certain confidence.
So any good
But
papers on regime detection that you think is industry standard?
so I can't come up with a directly name, but there are paper which talk about sparse model, sparse jump model. So these are the model
Can
which
you
helps
slow
you
down a
to.
little bit? Which model?
There is a model called a sparse jump model.
How do you
So
spell it?
basic sparse, sparse, sparse jump model,
Chunk.
jump, jump,
Jung.
jump,
Okay.
jump model. So basically, try to detect which regime we are in. So this is a mathematical concept, but few people have tried in the US to look how it can help you to predict a regime. And also you can work on the machine learning models where you can try to predict, like, not I'm saying that try to predict a stock return, because it won't land you anywhere, because that's not possible to predict a return. But you can try to predict other things, like which will direction market will move, or the sector, how sectors are performing. I think I don't remember the name of a paper, but recently there is a research on the momentum where they say that normal momentum, as everyone is aware that 12 minus 1 momentum or any other definition, but they have used one a medical term where like the probability of surviving having after having a particular disease. So they have tried to replicate that model into the finance to see if I select a let's say host of companies, let's 40 or 30 companies which are predicted by the momentum model, that these companies have momentum. Now they have run that model to see how many of these companies survive, and based on that, they have built a like additional layer over the top of it, which helps
Any
them to.
place where I can keep updated myself with all the new research papers? Any financial journal I should follow?
Simply, you can go on SSRN. So all publicly. So
Sorry,
SSRN,
SS
RN.
RN. It's like a website.
Yeah. So where there you can all the you or me also can write a research paper and we can publish it there. So it is
Okay.
open for all.
Understood. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing that. Let's take a couple of more questions on YouTube. We've extended the time, but I think this was a very interesting conversation. Vivek Yadav, again a quant question. Looks like we're getting a lot of interest on quant. Vivek Yadav is asking, I have 20 years of experience in software industry. Is it difficult for me to move into quant space? That's a fantastic question.
I can't say that it will be difficult, but it depends upon like if are you willing to take a. Most probably, I'm assuming that if person has a 20 years of experience, he will be at normal senior position in its software industry. So if you want to switch to the quant first, no one will give you a chance. So you'll have to start with some sort of internship and show that you are capable of doing these things. And once you have internship, then you can leverage what are the 20 years of experience and then move quickly in the role, like upward. But then no one will stop you that you have done the internship. So you will start with the bottom of the ladder. You can quickly move up. But I would suggest that someone has 20 years of experience in the software industry, then he is at a pretty good position. But I would suggest instead of looking at a quant research, the person should look at a quant developer. So the person who productionize all the code or research that quant research like the person has done, so they make it production ready or invest like industry grade. So that's basically deploy it into the
So
companies
quant
around them.
research is a different skill set and quant development is
Yeah,
a different skill
quant
set.
development is a different skill
Very
set.
insightful. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Let's take a couple of more. Okay. Utsav, maybe you can answer this question. The question is asked by Karan Patel. Is MBA still mandatory or relevant to break into finance industry, or is CFA with relevant skill set enough to break into industry, especially entry level roles?
So MBA is not relevant if you're doing it from tier 2 or tier 3 B school. It doesn't add any value. So so in our organization as well, we have junior advisors who are not MBAs, who are just graduates and CFA. They are CFA students, level 2, level 3 students, but they are like doing a relatively good job in their domain. So MBA, I think most people go for MBAs because they want to land up a good job at the end of the day when they complete their course. But otherwise, it's not a mandatory thing at all.
So in fact, you're saying, and I kind of share the view, you're saying going to a tier 2, tier 3 MBA school is a waste of, I mean, I tell people, right, it's a waste of 2 years of your time, 2 years of
Opportunity cost.
because you would have earned something, plus you would have gained some experience
Yeah.
and money, obviously. So
Yes.
MBA makes sense if you're going to the top tier places, or otherwise it's just complete waste.
Exactly. Top 20 B schools or don't go at all.
Okay, fantastic. All right. This is going to be the last question. This is coming from Vishwesh. This is for Utsav. Vishwesh is saying, question to Utsav sir, how do you see AI disrupting the private wealth industry? Wouldn't the increasing younger working population with disposable income prefer an AI over an advisor? Great question.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So I think advisors could be the last one that AI could replace. Advisors using AI will replace the ones who are not using AI. So in fact, we have already started implementing some sort of AI in our processes already. So, for example, when I started the small pitch that I gave, very soon we could have a bot in our website where, the initial level of context setting can be done by the AI. Now it can develop over time. See, first we have to understand that AI solves those problems which are more pattern oriented. They can kind of make life easier for both from execution and some sort of thinking perspective. From advisory perspective, the biggest value add that we are doing is managing behavior of the investors. So, without a human touch. So, for example, all these fintech firms, Scriptbox, Funds India, Kuvera, they realize that without, human advisors, they can't kind of retain high value clients because beyond a point, the automated system can't replicate what a human advisor is kind of providing. But of course, I feel that AI is a disruptor and it's a disruptor for good. So we must kind of embrace it rather than be fearful of it. And advisors with AI will soon replace advisors without AI. In the next 10 years, a lot of consolidation is supposed to happen in this industry as well.
AI is the next internet of sorts. I mean, if you think about it, because
Exactly.
I think every big tech tends to democratize over a period of time. And because if you'd see like even smaller organization like ours, probably now we leverage a lot of AI, right? And we build customized prompts for solving specific situations to us. I'm using AI extensively in my equity research work. So and because I can just pay $20 a month and get access to some really high quality computing. So with time it will only democratize. So I'm guessing everyone. So it's like saying a professional with internet versus without internet. It's a given that everyone will use internet. I'm guessing the same will happen. People will adapt, will be able to end up doing well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It has been a fantastic conversation with all three of you. My final question before I let you go, is any one of you hiring intern or fresher right now? And if yes, how can people reach out to you?
So not right now, but people can reach out to me. We are constantly hiring either for internship or for full-time roles. So people can reach out to me directly either over LinkedIn or over email. We'll kind of reach out back to them.
All right, expect some responses then. This
Yeah.
would be Utsav Agrawal, Prosper's Wealth. I think should be easy to find on LinkedIn. How about you, Prathamesh?
So, I mean, I don't have any authority to hire people, but yeah, if I mean, you can definitely check the website of BNY and let me know if you are interested in the role. I can help with a referral
Right. So, Prathamesh, how can people reach out to you?
on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay. Your full name would be Prathamesh Naik.
Yes.
Prathamesh like BNY Melon. If I search, I think I should be able
Yeah.
to find. And how about you, Amit? Are you hiring anything for control at the moment?
So no, currently, we don't have any active openings for interns and all those things. But yeah, you can always go to the True Beacon website and look at our career page. We when I say we means True Beacon always hire the interns. So it's not like a specific that we require the intern. It depends upon what quality of
If you get the
application we are getting.
skills, if you get the
Skill
skills,
set.
you
If
might
there
have.
is a candidate with right skill set, then we try to like explore the candidate. We give them an assignment and try to see if it will be right fit. Since it's a startup environment, you need a different kind of mindset to work here. Basically, an ownership mindset where you have to do each and everything, like everything. It's not like you are like doing a specific task. So you can be asked to do anything related to the company. So
Understood.
yeah, if you are interested, you can check out the career page and like send your applications there.
Sure. True Beacon.
Yeah, True Beacon.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. You guys have a great weekend ahead.
Thank
And
you.
we should have
Thank
similar
you.
conversation again sometime in the future.
Sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you. Bye.